What are your relationships with money like individually and like collectively? Who's more conservative? Who's more like lavish? Who's more tight-fisted? Who's more emotional about it?
Yeah. Growing up for me, my family talked about money, but like at the surface, like all I knew about money is you got to save half your paycheck. Debt's bad. What was good about that is it made me make sure I saved. I got my first job at a fairly young age, saved half my paychecks, all of that. But we didn't get into the deepness about money. I didn't know what my parents were making, how much our house cost, like any of that stuff. I was so blind to it. So I felt a lot of like nervousness and guilt around money because I didn't know what was going on with it. And then also like fear. Like I was afraid of it. I got my first credit card right before starting university and I cried. So I was like, this means like, I don't know. I don't even know what it means. it feels bad.
You're like holding, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. Like I don't even know. Like I cried and my mom was like, why are you crying? And I'm like, you haven't told me what this is. Like, I don't know. Like, this is scary to me. So I feel like that was how I was. And then my independence in university helped me with money, too.
I just want to point out, like, I can imagine your mom walking into a room and you have a credit card and you're crying at the credit card. Like, yeah. I'm just trying to see what's going through her head.
We're at the bank.
We're
at the bank. And the bank teller asks, like, should we set her up with a credit card? And mom's like, yeah. And I'm like, and then we're in the room, like, where they're giving it to me. And I start to cry. And I'm, like, embarrassed. And I'm like, oh, my gosh. But I feel like that is a good, like, example of where I was at.
Yeah.
Like, real life.
Right?
Yeah. Like, I just didn't know much, but I knew it was to be, like, it could be dangerous, I guess.
I think
like, could be to be scared.
Most people do the crying after a few
They spend
like
too much.
months of having the credit card.
I was more like...
She's like pre-crying.
Yeah. Well, and this is an example, too. Like, I knew that I didn't know enough, and I wanted to know more, but I didn't know what I needed to know about money. So that was kind of always my search. But I remember the first time I went to the bank by myself and, like, took money out. I'm like, yeah, like I'm doing
like a grown woman.
Yes, like I'm getting
like
independent.
Victory.
Yes, but actually too. So then when we graduated, I knew I was in a good position with no student debt, which not everyone's in.
Yeah.
But I felt the pressure to do the right things with that opportunity, I guess. So he can attest that I felt guilty spending money. And at first I was spending. I didn't have a budget yet. I was just like living the new adult in Toronto life.
Yeah.
But every purchase I made, like I remember one night on the couch, it was like a math equation. Should I buy pizza or not? Like, is it okay to spend money on this? Like, I was really thinking about it. And he's like, and he told me to make a budget. And then that I feel like really started to change my life with money.
That is so good.
Yeah. It's true.
That is so good.
And then you're on the opposite side.
For me, I'm on the opposite side. So for me, I grew up with like almost like a scarcity mindset where it literally bleeds into our relationship today in a way because
that's normal.
I won't throw anything out.
Oh, no.
Right? I want to
everything
get the
out.
very last drop of soap of whatever. Like, don't throw it out. My my closet. We just started cleaning it out like this past couple months.
Yes,
because I have things that
I've never
had
seen
when I was in like 10th grade.
Yeah,
you know.
Wow.
Like I've never worn them, but it's like
they're not going anywhere.
What if? In my mind, I make up these scenarios. So it's like,
what if I need this for one specific
reason
at a specific time and I don't have it?
Exactly.
And I'm gonna die if I don't have it.
That is the energy.
Yeah. So I grew up with a scarcity mindset. Obviously, my family and us moving here, we kind of started from like ground zero, right?
And you saw that firsthand as the first kid, right?
Exactly. So, it's just some things are hard to let go of. It's hard to shake off. But at the same time, I've always felt this need to make sure that I was doing everything like 100% the way it needs to be done.
To a T, yeah.
So even my money journey, right? Like, graduated with student loan debt, had to pay $50,000. I wanted to pay it off as soon as possible so that in my mind, I could get my life started and just
life starts after debt.
Clean slate.
Yeah.
No debt, nothing. And even if I think about investing, when I was starting to invest, I felt like I needed to like have this super elaborate like vision and like just know everything.
Yeah.
Which is just it's not the reality, and it shouldn't be the expectation for anyone.